We're going to be talking a little bit about the global unity grid, some things that are going on in the collective, as we all know, with wars, with terror, with tyranny, with tragedy, and Source, and particularly the Seraphim Source Dragons wanted to step forward today to have this conversation with us as they are some of the main multi-dimensional guides who help assist with grid work on this planet. So I'm on Instagram Live and YouTube Live at the same time. So choose your platform, as I always say. Now, I wanted to talk about this as well because so many people have been reaching out to me for clarity and perspective, right? When tragedy strikes or when these horrendous things happen around the world, we are human, and so we feel emotion. And not only do we feel emotion, it reactivates and triggers memory in our own DNA sequence, where we remember being a part of these 1,000-year-old wars and battles and um attacks on humanity, really is what they are. And so we want to acknowledge your emotions. We want to acknowledge the human journey while simultaneously pulling you into the frequency of the global unity grid. So, we're going to be talking about what the global unity grid is, activating that vibration in your field more. But first, let's approach this from a higher level. And we want you to understand mass manipulation, is what the dragons are talking about right now. So many of the events that are promoted to you are done so intentionally, and not even on the higher governmental level. We're talking beyond that, right? We're talking shadow governments and those types of things that most of you are familiar with. And a lot of these events are engineered. A lot of these events are orchestrated as to manufacture fear, and we'll call them the dark masters, because they understand universal law and they understand how to get you to use universal law against yourself, but not just against yourself, but also against your brothers and sisters, the cosmic collective here. And in engineering and manufacturing fear and distortion, it is an attempt to lower the light quotient of your field, all of the work that you've been doing. Now, this doesn't mean that we do not have empathy and compassion for things that happen around the world, but we're simply pulling you into a higher recognition of when you need to be steadfast in holding a unity frequency and unconditionally loving frequency even more. As you expand into your multidimensional awareness, this is where you begin to hold all perspectives in your field simultaneously. And what we mean by this is being the rainbow light warrior that you are, that you came here to be, being in unconditional love, knowing when it's time to speak against things, knowing when it's time to move into action, knowing when it's time to support with your resources, with your voice, while still holding the awareness of the play, right? This is the play of Krishna. The awareness of all roles that are playing their part simultaneously. Now, when you do that, you rise above the drama of whatever is unfolding. And we also want everyone here to understand that Gaia, the planet, and the planetary ascension is happening no matter what. And we are going to continue to see various events and atrocities and things that they're purging, they're coming to the surface. Now, um, Erin was sitting in an energy of not really knowing how to feel about the events that were unraveling in the Middle East, because she said to us, I do not have enough information on either side to make a decision or to have a strong opinion. So, what am I to do? There must be something that I can do. And we simply told her, dear one, the only thing that is required is that you outsource your energy, you outsource your love, you send your love to that place and to that space, cutting through all time, space, and dimension to support bringing in peace to the area. And each of you can do the same thing. And what we mean by this is we spoke to you all about lower vibrations last week, I believe, and it's really synchronistic that that conversation unraveled right before the events that unfolded this week. When these types of things happen, understand that low vibrational entities are working through people, not only through various leaders who work together oftentimes to create these events, but working through other others in the collective who believe that they are a part of a higher mission or calling, but they've sort of been programmed into operating in hate and fear. And so, in knowing when you become the rainbow light warrior that you are, and you know there are lower vibrations working through people in the higher levels, in the mass levels, in the local leadership levels, you want to send your energy to cleanse and purify the space. And all of you have the power to do this when you are operating in the unity field, when you are operating in unconditional love, when you are recognizing all of the roles that are playing out truly for the expansion of the evolutionary phase that humanity is in. So, from the highest of levels, is source concerned? No. Does source hold compassion for its children and all of the various roles that they have agreed and signed up to play in this time space reality? Yes. And so you have to start deciding how you are going to feel in relationship to the things that are unfolding. And we're going to do a global energy healing activation. All of you are going to be learning how to generate, how to project your energy to any place, any space, as to clear out lower vibrations who are taking advantage of the opportunity to amplify whatever chaos, whatever distortion, whatever is happening that is not in alignment with peace, harmony, and unity. As a light warrior, this is something that you must learn how to do. Not allowing yourself to be emotionally triggered before you take a step back. Sit in neutrality. We called this sacred observation in the light language activation that we provided earlier. Sacred observation. Well, at the higher level, what is happening? Okay, Gaia is purging. A lot of the densities that are being purged right now, these energies have been on the planet for thousands of years. And so, especially when there's an eclipse and we have different portals, so we just had the 1010 portal, all of these gateways that allow higher interstellar energies to reach the planet just amplify anything beneath the surface that has yet to be fully cleared. In choosing to sit in that sacred observation, recognizing what's happening, that first chaos usually comes to surface before we anchor into a higher grid. You are not contributing fear frequencies into the old inverted matrix grid system. So, this global unity grid that we're activating in your fields right now, as well as the star tetrahedral technology in your DNA. Yes, these are key codes that are interlocked in your DNA sequence. And through transmissions like these, we are simply reactivating them, unlocking them, bringing you into remembrance of who you really are and who everyone else is. In simple terms, this just means remembering that you are source. remembering that you are love, remembering that there is only light. Now, the ones who are working against you as to ensure that you do not activate these key codes in your DNA sequence, you must learn how to fight with love. Love is the highest force, the highest frequency that we neutralize all distortion, all distraction, condensing lower vibrational grids back into unity, back into source. This is what you must learn how to do every single time. It doesn't mean we can't help those who have, we want you to understand something. There's a reason why you have been born into a certain geographical location. There's a reason why others have contractually agreed to be born in other geographical locations where there are frequent wars and attacks and things of such. So recognize that when a soul chooses to be exposed to certain global events, typically it's because it's a part of its own soul's evolutionary path, meaning there's a past or future parallel incarnation that the soul is wanting to rebalance on some level via this incarnation. It doesn't mean we don't hold compassion, but it's going to stop you from reacting from the lower density plane where we are believing in the illusion, right? We have to first sit in the higher knowing of what's unfolding, the divine play. Every soul knows exactly what it's doing, how it's expanding, how it's evolving, why it's chosen to be a part of what's happening. And then we rest in our humanity, the sacred heart of our humanity. This is our connection to Divine Mother and Divine Father. It's unconditional love and compassion for all of the roles that are simultaneously playing themselves out. So the unity grid is you holding the awareness of duality and oneness in your consciousness simultaneously. This is when you unlock your multidimensional blueprint. And when you're anchored in this multidimensional blueprint, you don't respond or react from fear or from anger or from believing that you must take a side. The things that are unfolding have been a part of um, thousands of years of distortion and programs and separation, specifically in the Middle East. You're not going to be able to understand all of the factors that are going into what unfolds. Don't even try. Don't try to understand from the 3D perspective. Don't try to take a side. Now, some of you are feeling some questions lingering. Some of you are asking, well, source, when people are being killed, when innocent civilians are being attacked, and have to migrate from their home, how can you not choose a side, source? And we say any being who is moving outside of love and oneness is always doing so from a place of forgetting who they really are. And so, like a parent, we cannot love one child more than we love the other just because at the moment they are playing different roles for each other. This is the unity codex. This is the unity frequency. This is what we are inviting you to fully receive into yourselves, into your DNA, into your holographic light memory structures. You may not consciously be able to remember that all is an illusion, all is source pretending to be various different selves for the purpose of expansion. And that's okay. It's not your human um, mind is not meant to hold that in your awareness at all times. but we're pulling you into the higher heart chamber where it is known to you on a soul level that there is nothing to worry about. There is nothing to judge. There is nothing to condemn. There is nothing to reject. For when we reject anything, we just resist aspects of self. So, no, we do not choose sides. We understand what our children are doing. We understand what they have contractually signed up to experience. And we send love and we send light and we send messages and we send energy through those who remember the truth as to direct and guide their other selves back home into the sacred heart. This is what you are being invited to step into. So let me just tune in and see if there are any questions here. Loving the transmission coming through. So we're going to do something. We're going to do a global unity timeline jump. Now, we wanted to set the stage with this Trinity Helix Unity Field activation, right? Pulling you into the higher chamber of the heart. But we want to solidify when we do this collectively together. And we're talking about the rainbow warriors, the star seeds, the indigos, the ones who are here to remember and remind. Um, you can trigger a mass collective timeline jump. You're no longer playing into the drama or the antics that the lower vibrations are trying to amplify via media, propaganda, all these different things. And it, again, this doesn't mean that horrendous things are not happening, but we trigger a collective timeline jump when we synchronize our intention and our fields and we consciously project higher dimensional energy into the place and the space that is under attack, because that's really what it is. Okay. So there's this prayer that source guided me to that was channeled through Elliot Eli Jackson. And I want you to just repeat well, first I'm going to say it and then we'll all say it together. So it goes, in the name of all there is, was, and ever shall be, I send out light, love, healing, and high vibrational energy to insert place. And we're going to say Israel and Palestine. I do this to assist Earth in healing and protecting herself. Now, just to highlight, you see, we didn't pick a side, right? We said both places and spaces. And understand, when you project your energy this way, you are cutting through time, you are cutting through distance, you are collapsing space, and you are assisting that area via this type of grid work. This is another way that you can do grid work. And so the Seraphim Sophia Dragons are stepping in to assist us. Okay, so you're just going to repeat after me. You can close your eyes if you want, drop into your heart center. And before you send energy to anyone or any place or anything, you want to drop into that higher heart chamber and allow unconditional love to increase. If you're struggling with fathoming how you can hold unconditional love for a group of people or anyone that you perceive to be out of alignment with source, understand that they've just forgotten. It's like if you were dealing with a child and they were stumbling, you wouldn't condemn them because they've made a mistake or because they're in a learning process. We have to start looking at lower consciousness humans as little babies, little children who are in their remembering process. They've just forgotten. They're just programmed. Okay. So you you sit in that higher heart chamber, increase the compassion. You know what it feels like to be in a hellish state? And source is saying each and every one of us has been in a hellish state. And hell is simply being separate from love, not being able to feel the love of source, not being able to remember that we are source, operating on programs and conditions that go against our true essence, our true nature. So these are beings who are in a hell state. And so we want to increase the compassion. We want to sit in love, holding this sacred place inside of ourselves, knowing that at the end of the journey, all beings are coming back home into the Sacred Heart, coming back home into this place of total unity where all forgiveness is instantaneous. Really, the word forgiveness doesn't fully hold the capacity of Source, because Source doesn't have to forgive because it never condemned in the first place. Okay? So allow this energy to start expanding in your higher heart. Love, acceptance, understanding, compassion, gratitude for the expansion, gratitude for the evolution. And you're going to repeat after us. In the name of all there is, was, and ever shall be, I send out light, love, healing, and high vibrational energy to Israel and Palestine. I do this to assist Earth in healing and protecting herself. And let's just sit in this energy together. And I want you to imagine a golden orb of light that represents all of our energies converging in this now moment. It's growing, it's getting brighter, 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 brighter. You might feel like it's encompassing you in your own field right now. Maybe you're even sitting in it. And I want you to project from your heart and imagine that this ball of light and love is being sent out into the ethers, reaching our desired place and destination. Encompassing both of these locations, neutralizing, purifying any lower vibrations, any entities, any energies, any attachments, feeding off of the collective chaos and pain and suffering. And so it is uttered, and so it is done. Whew. And maybe you feel yourself coming back into some peace, deeper understanding of what's unfolding for the collective, knowing that we are just one step closer to being fully anchored in the New Earth timeline. Okay. So what I want to do is, if you want to come on, if anyone wants to come on Instagram Live with me, I know I have some folks on YouTube. Feel free to listen in and share what you experienced or what this brought up for you. We can go ahead and do that and just request to join me. Ooh. Bringing on, I believe your name is Linus. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that person. If anybody wants to request to join from YouTube, just come on Instagram. It's just easier for me to bring people on. Let's see what we have. Someone says, I live in Israel, sending you massive love and hugs and energy. Okay. Took a minute for this to load up for whatever reason. Michelle, you are up. You know what? I feel like we have some. Okay, Michelle doesn't want to come on. Just hold on, guys. Alicia. There we go. Hello, hello. Hi. I cannot hear you, hun. Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. There we go. Amazing. Glad to have you here. Um, was there anything you wanted to share with us? How did you feel? Did you see anything? Any realizations?
For me, I think just the sense of validation that love is love and neutrality is the way. I throughout this week I've been trying to embody that, and I think maybe even still with my intention, certain word choices that I've made have still triggered people. And I guess like my question to you is, I'm sorry, my
It's okay.
my son is here with his friends. Hold on, my love. I'm gonna call my love. I'm talking to someone. Yes. Sorry.
It's fine.
So my question. Okay, so here is. I would love your guidance because I've actually been seeking out maybe some of your posts to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
So the verbiage I have been sharing with folks is that love is a stronger force than we realize. That that the idea of us being different from one another is an illusion. It's like the dream of separation.
Yep.
And at the same time, I feel a great sense of urgency to speak out against the rapid pace at which I see the people of Palestine being impacted. That does not mean that I don't have a great sense of compassion for the large amount of Israeli lives that have been lost.
Sure.
My husband is Jewish. Also, a part of me that I share that a lot of people may not have realized is when my father passed, he was missing for 2 days. So I know like that. I know that like emotional roller coaster that you feel when your loved one is like. So I have a lot of compassion for people in need of a place to stay.
Sure.
But the sense of urgency as it relates to seeing the images of what's happening in Gaza, to me, responding to that feels like love, but then I'm seeing a response to it that doesn't seem like it reverberates as love to those that have been impacted on as part of the Jewish community, because I have friends in both communities. So that's where I'm feeling a little stuck. Does that make sense? I don't know.
No, absolutely. So this is where we shared unlocking our true multidimensional self is when we sit in the duality and the oneness simultaneously, right? It's a simultaneous experience of reality. And so it's not necessarily choosing sides, but it's recognizing when acts against humanity or any group of people are happening, that we do have the power to shed light. We do have the power to be in a vibration of love. And so each of us is going to relate to what's happening differently. If you feel an impulse to share something, share it, because you don't know who's in your immediate field who needs to receive that frequency and be activated from it. So when we talk about neutrality, which is just unconditional love for all roles, it doesn't mean silence, right? It doesn't mean passiveness. It doesn't mean that we may not have an opinion. But what we would urge you to do is, when you take that step back before emotionally responding, and ask yourself, well, okay, am I responding from a place of being wrapped up in the illusion, or am I responding from the higher observatory consciousness? Because when you're an observer consciousness, it's very difficult to emotionally respond and react, because we'll just say this: you don't know who has orchestrated what and put what information in front of you so you can emotionally respond. And so I'll give you a process that I use personally for myself. Before I emotionally engage or respond to anything, if I personally don't have enough information, meaning it did not come through my channel experientially, or I wasn't exposed to it experientially, I sit in observer mode and neutrality and unconditional love for all sides. And what I mean is, if I'm not there, if and none of us, by the way, have access to this type of information. We don't know what has been artificially manufactured and put in front of us. We just don't know. So to take any side is to be sort of swept in and absorbed into the illusion of the whole thing. Now, it doesn't mean that we won't be moved into action. If you want to donate money because you empathize with the civilians and the people who are impacted, please do that. We want you to do that. Being a light warrior is not just about, like, I'm going to go meditate under a freaking tree all day and I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
We have to take action, but make sure you take action from a place of that neutrality and observation and recognizing that you do not have all the information, and we never will, by the way. There's just too many layers. There's too many hands in the pot, so to speak. There's too many puppet masters. So we want to just, when we say observation mode, guys, what we're talking about is you take a step outside of the game. You're not a part of it anymore, but you assist where you can via energy or resources. Okay. So thank you so much for your question, because we know so many people are, residing in that energy. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. It's very helpful.
Thanks, hon. Thanks so much for your question.
I don't know how to turn it off.
It's okay. You probably will have to exit and then come back. Yes. So I really want to expand on this, guys. Like, when different things happen, or when you receive certain information or you see certain things that are happening in the world, there's no way for you to know the truth of what's happening. I mean, you can tune in with source or your guides. If you're operating in that level, you can try to get more information, but it's so multidimensional, it's so complex, it's so layered with different collective contracts, right? Different just old energies purging and revealing themselves. So you don't want to get overly emotionally wrapped up. This does not mean that you do not operate in love. It does not mean that you don't operate in compassion. It does not mean that you're not empathizing with the very real experiences that people are having. But this is the divine play of Krishna. This is Source playing infinite roles for the ultimate purpose of expansion. And when you know that, you're holding the light for the collective. You're not a part of the collective drama. You're a part of the collective dharma, right? Drama becomes dharma. You don't want to be a part of the unfolding of the chaos. You want to hold the light. And so exactly what we just did today, we sent high vibrational energy to the place and the space that needed our unity grid frequency. This is the Christos and Sophianic templates. Divine Mother, Divine Father, duality and oneness blended into unification, sitting in the higher heart chamber, and you project your knowingness, your remembrance of the bigger picture, and you neutralize lower vibrational energy. Do not get pulled into the duality of this, right? We're not working backwards. We can always choose to be a part of the collective timeline jump. Do I want to feed energy to the current timeline? Or do I want to support the new timeline? Do I want to be the bridge, the rainbow bridge into the new timeline that's being unlocked, that's being encoded, that's being built? You see, timelines are always being built or fractured or split off. How do you want the timeline to split off? That's how you help. You don't help with being sucked into the lower density conversation, because then the vibrational integrity of your field just gets really kind of like infiltrated. We want you to be in the highest frequency of love and light. Okay. And someone said source does not stand by looking at extermination. We already spoke about this. This is the oneness and the duality that converge into the unity point. It's not love and compassion without action. We understand that. But the action has to come from pure knowingness of who you are and who everyone else is, meaning it has to truly come from that unconditional love field. Because if it doesn't, it just contributes to the outdated um, timeline and the old earth grid. If you're going to do something, if you're going to say something, if you're going to dedicate money, time, resources, whatever it is, you first ask yourself, am I anchored in the frequency of the unity point? As I'm doing this, as I'm aware of this atrocity, as I'm aware of this density. So we understand that these types of events can really tug on our heartstrings and make us sort of feel like we have to choose a side. But this is where the Ascended Masters Codex comes in. Holding the purity of the unity grid, holding the awareness of all simultaneous contracts and unfoldings in your consciousness, and purifying that back into love and light. Let me see who else wants to come on. Terry Freeman, if you are still here. Hello.
I'm sideways.
It's all good. Sideways, upside down, doesn't matter.
I did not know you were going to call me. I've never been on the line before, but I have a twin sister that's been affected by all of this that's going on in Israel and stuff, and I didn't have any idea what was going on. All I did was have a lot of emotions going on within myself, just working through them, because I know that everything outside, the way that I've been looking at things is everything outside of myself is within me. So whatever arises in me, if I'm not online or haven't been online and don't know what's going on, if it's coming up within me, which it has, I've been having visions about what's going on over there. And when Tammy mentioned it, my sister, she is in great turmoil. I mean, she's got end-stage COPD, and she's just, I think that affected me more seeing the way she responded to it than me even knowing about what's going on over there. And I'm just trying to, even though everything you say resonates with me, I know that we are one, and I can feel that. I can feel the connection with everybody, and I've just been so emotional about my sister. You know, and I don't know how to reach her because she's not wanting to go get help from the doctors or nothing like that, and I don't know what to say. So the only thing I have been doing is holding space for her, but I haven't been able to sleep knowing she's suffering so bad, you know?
So what the divine source Sophia Dragons are sharing with you is they're saying release it to source. And this is a very important message for all of us. When we feel personally responsible for assisting someone with feeling better or helping them to raise their vibration, it just puts pressure on us. And so when you surrender and you release this to source and you say, I trust in the divine intelligence and power of source to assist my sister exactly where she is, you kind of like take the cape off, I'm seeing, and you release it to the higher force, the higher intelligence that knows exactly what she needs in this moment. And you, with you simply having that intention and sending love and sending light, like with the prayer we just used, you can impact her healing. You can impact her sense of peace. You can support more calmness, a frequency of calmness coming into her being. But you got to release this to source. It's not on you right now. You deliver and you offer words of love and compassion when you can. And when you cannot, when there are no words, when you're feeling these emotions inside of you and fear is there and anxiety is there, you have to really, I think, what do Christians say? Let go and let God. You have to let go and let God. Okay.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Because oftentimes as light workers, because we are so encoded to be of service, we want to fix other people's problems and circumstances and conditions and situations, and unconsciously we are assigning ourselves as being the creator of their reality, and we cannot create their reality. Okay.
I know it's hard to break away from that. I mean, with everybody else, I feel like I'm doing good, but with my sister, I've never been really close with her ever. Just recently, she had an awakening, but she drinks and smokes and takes stuff, stuff that makes her go into a lower consciousness. And I could talk to her sometimes for hours, and she'd be straight, and then all of a sudden she calls me and she's slurring her words and she's acting like she's just dying. She can't breathe.
So we want to share this perspective with you. When source is perceiving your sister and her journey and everything she's experiencing, source does not feel fear. Source does not feel condemnation. Source does not feel like anything is going wrong. Source simply holds the knowingness that this is a soul who is on an evolutionary journey and will always return back home. If you can hold that in your awareness, that on some level, even if your human mind can't understand this, if you understand that on a soul level, she is expanding and you choose to see the light inside of her, you choose to see how the experiences of her life are putting her on a higher evolutionary track back into the oneness, you can release some of the grip that the illusion has on you, right? This is when we feel bad for people, or we have pity on people, or we want to save them. And again, it goes back to surrendering this back to source. It's the path that she chose, and find a way to see the value in that path. And that's gonna help you in the heart tremendously.
Yeah, I was just talking about that to myself and to my higher self about this is her decision.
Mm-hmm.
This is her soul chose to do this experience.
I have a powerful book that's coming through for you. And it's called The Afterlife of Billy Fingers. And this woman, her brother passed away, and her brother was like, a junkie, an addict, just like, just had the most kind of like fucked up path. And he started communicating with her from the other side when he passed away. And it is one of the most beautiful texts that I've ever read in my life. I like cry through the whole thing. That's going to be really, really helpful for you.
Okay.
Giving you some perspective into the soul's journey, even when it looks chaotic. Okay. So thank you so much, hun, for sharing your openness, your vulnerability. I know so many here are feeling similar things. So we deeply appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
all you've done for me.
Oh, much love. Bye, honey.
Bye.
Yeah, guys, if you want to read The Afterlife of Billy Fingers, man, such a profound text. Really profound text. Really, really, really beautiful, and can really support you in understanding these different journeys that we go on as souls, these different characters that we pretend to be, and how on the soul level we're really just expanding. And then when you understand that on the individual soul level, you can then start to understand that for the collective, at the collective level, we're all just playing one big crazy game. No matter how dark it seems, no matter how twisted, no matter how dramatic, no matter how chaotic, it's all just a game. It's one big illusion, and everyone's going home. The Afterlife of Billy Fingers. Yes, the Afterlife of Billy Fingers. Amazing, amazing text. Will have you in tears the whole time. And if you get it and you read it and you love it, please DM me and let me know. Okay, let's see who else wants to chat it up. Um, let's go with I am I am 999, the pure one, if you are still here. And for my folks on YouTube, thank you for hanging out and being a part of this sort of Q&A. If you want to ask a question, follow me on Instagram, ask on Instagram. Hello, hi. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for bringing me up. I didn't expect that I was coming up so soon. When I had requested whenever earlier you had spoke on like the worlds and the planets and new world and new earth. About 2 nights ago, I woke up around I wrote this piece at 2:32. I just want to recite it.
Okay.
I want to but it's something that I wrote, and I feel like it's a message to people. So I just want to share it with you.
Yeah, thank you. Please.
I say, we know that the planets are aligned. Once they're aligned, there will be a new beginning. Life as we see it now will no longer be a thing. Depends on if you're working on strengthening your inner spirit to be able to experience the beautiful side of this chaotic world. Worlds are ending, new ones are beginning. The earth is alive, the world is alive, the universe is alive. We are living to create, to build, to grow, to shine alongside of the sun as we reflect the light that shine, that creates the illusion of our vision and our imagination. We must discover the truth and live fearless because we are everything, good and evil. We are all one. There's always sides to us that we must learn to control, to use for our highest good. Love, just flow like the waves down the Nile into the Gulf. We are connected to every element of life. Let your spirit guide you through your intuition. This piece.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you just brought tears to my eyes. My eyes were closed, and so I was just really connecting to the frequency of your soul and the intention and just the light codes embedded within that beautiful poem and transmission. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you.
And can I also share this one too? Because I wrote this one right out. I was just talking. And
yeah.
This is a piece. Don't give up on yourself.
Oh, yes. We need to hear it. We need to hear it. Yes, please.
Don't give up on yourself. Keep going. It's already happening for you. Keep shining. You are gifted. You are the one who's going to change your family lives. Don't worry about them talking behind your back. You're going on the right track. They're going to love you one day. Keep pushing. Keep pushing, kings and queens. I love you. You are making so much progress in your life and others. Keep inspiring people. You are golden. We are golden. Don't worry about where you at this moment, where you're going or where you're going. Just stay focused. Be present. Stay focused on the present moment. All you have been asking for is en route. You are about to become a billionaire. You are about to be traveling the world and impacting millions of lives. And this time there is more shifting. I am proud of you. So keep up the great work. This was more so a message to the collective, a message to myself. But you know, I feel like all of us is on a journey of discovering us, and we're moving in the spirit of harmony. That's all you must do is move in the spirit of harmony and operate in love, light, and shine your light always. And never, ever, ever discredit anyone else. Just always stay focused on yourself and speak life into others, speak life into yourself, and everything will work out in divine order. So just be golden, shine your light.
Oh man, you've just uplifted so many people with those beautiful transmissions. Thank you so much. And continue to do that. If you're not doing that, this is our message to you that you should be sharing those with more people. And so we really honor you, King, and appreciate you at this time. Thank you so much, hon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing. The message is very much clear to me. I haven't really been too much paying attention to what's going on the other side, but I have been sharing love and sending out love, energy, and vibration, and praying for the world that the world will always heal. You know, because we deserve healing. We gotta heal, and it starts with self, and it starts within, because we're all connected. Once you is healing within all the cells that lie within your vessel, you're healing other lives too, and that's where you start to break generational curses and those genetic curses that's going on and taking place within yourself. As the more that you heal within your mind and your soul and your body, but first you got to strengthen your spirit. That's here for it. We have to strengthen our spirit.
Yes.
And then when we pass, so-called pass away, the outer life, we will be with Christ and operating on a higher frequency.
Yes, we will be absorbed into Christ's consciousness, a state of being, in essence of being one with Source. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your words. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a beautiful day.
You too, hon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, that just literally sent me my soul just like responded to it. Ascension brother Peter Enrique, you are up next, right? Some divine masculine energy I feel is needed right now. Hello. Hi, how are you?
I can't really see you. I'm kind of nervous.
Why can't you see me?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Is it frozen?
No, it's just a black screen.
Interesting. Okay. Well, if I can see you, but if you want to continue, I know you're looking at a black screen, but as long as you can hear my voice, it's all good.
Yeah, it's good. We'll work through it. I don't have a question. I just kind of I don't know, just kind of chose to request.
You don't have anything to say?
I'm just feeling the energies. That's well, anything to say? Let's see.
Can you speak from your heart? What does your heart want to say? Okay. So you got something to say. Some light language to share, just some light language to share. I'm sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Huh? Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, sorry about that. Really.
It's okay.
Yeah. I'm just appreciating the moment for what it brings.
Yeah. Feeling such powerful intention coming from your soul. The message that you are bringing forth in this moment of now, which is allow whatever is unfolding to exist. This is that energy of acceptance and oneness with everything that we perceive. Not trying to change it, not even trying to understand it, not judging the emotions that arise on the journey, just sitting in the acceptance of the play, the divine game of Source. Thank you for bringing that forward. Profound. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into that.
And I feel, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You were saying?
I feel the peace. I feel the peace in your vibration that is sort of rippling through the collective here. This collective grid that we all are centered around this now moment, this conversation. So I feel your truest essence radiating from your being. Peace.
Yeah, beautiful.
Very beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for co-creating this moment together. Yeah. You may have to exit out of the whole thing.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. It feels counterintuitive for us to be at peace when others are in pain. I'm just going to say that again. It feels counterintuitive for us to be at peace when we perceive that others are in pain. How can I be in neutrality and love and acceptance when people are literally being bombed and raped and tortured and killed? We're not saying that we can't speak out against horrendous acts or that we can't be moved into action, but we can simultaneously be in a vibration of peace. Understanding that the battle is first won energetically in the spiritual planes and realms before it materializes into physicality. You never win the battle in the physical first. Any battle that's ever won was already won on a metaphysical level. And so what that means is before we attempt to fight anything or anyone, we first recognize that the fight was taking place in our consciousness, is taking place within the collective consciousness. And then from that place, we step into our rainbow light warrior essence. We first win the battle in our consciousness, in our spirit, in our soul, in the higher realms, in the higher dimensions. And this is really important, guys. This is the last thing we're going to say before we wrap up this transmission. This is so important because you are never going to beat them on their level. You're never going to win on their level. They have their level mastered. You're never going to win against lower vibrations with lower vibrations. You would have to assume the higher frequency to totally collapse the lower vibration back into unity. So before you do anything, before you say anything, before you act, before you take a side, before you support, before you use your voice or your resources, ask yourself, well, have I already won that battle in my consciousness? If not, that's okay. Sit with it longer. Simmer in it longer until you reach a place of converging with that unity point, which knows that all is a game, an illusion unfolding for higher expansion. And then we move into action. That's it. Thank you. And for my friends on YouTube, thank you for hanging out as well.